The possibility of rising to a comprehension of a system of coordination so far outreaching in time and space all reach of human observations is a circumstance which signalizes the power of man to transcend the limitations of changing and inconsistent matter and assert his superiority over all unstable and perishable forms of being. There is a method in the succession of events, and in the relation of coexistent things, which the mind of man seizes hold of, and by means of this as a clue, he runs back or forward over eons of material history, of which human experience can never testify. Events germinate and unfold. They have a past which is connected with the present, and we feel a well-justified confidence that a future is appointed which will be similarly connected with the present and the past. This continuity and unity of history repeat themselves before our eyes in all conceivable stages of progress. The phenomena furnish as the grounds for the generalization of two laws, which are truly principles of scientific divination, by which alone the human mind penetrates the sealed records of the past and the unopened pages of the future. The first of these is the law of evolution, or to phrase it for our purpose, the law of correlated successiveness or organized history in the individual illustrated in the changing phases of every single maturing system of results. These thoughts summon into our immediate presence the measureless past and the measureless future of material history. They seem almost to open vistas through infinity and to endow the human intellect with an existence and a vision exempt from the limitations of time and space and finite causation, and lift it up toward a sublime apprehension of a supreme intelligence, whose dwelling place is eternity. In accordance to the teachings of Maya, or the elusive appearance of a marshalling of events and actions of this earth, changes varying with nations and places, but the chief features of one's life are always in accordance with the constellation one is born under, or we should say, with the characteristics of its animating principle or the deity that presides over it. Whether we call it a Dian Shohan as in Asia, or Archangel as with the Greek and Latin churches, in ancient symbolism it was always the sun, though the spiritual not the visible sun was meant, that was supposed to send forth the chief saviors and avatars. Hence, the connecting link between the Buddhas, the avatars, and so many other incarnations of the highest seven, the closer the approach to one's prototype in heaven, the better for the mortal whose personality was chosen by his own personal deity, the seventh principle, as its terrestrial abode. For with every effort of will toward purification and unity, these cycles of matter are name given by Winchell to an essay of his written in 1860. With that self-God, one of the lowest race breaks and the spiritual entity of man is drawn higher and ever higher to the ray that supersedes the first, until from ray to ray the inner man is drawn into the one and highest being of a parent sun. Thus the events of humanity do run coordinately with a number of forms, since the single units of that humanity proceed one and all from the same source, the central and its shadow, the visible sun. For the equinoxes and solstices, the periods and various phases of a solar course, astronomically and numerically expressed, are only the concrete symbols of eternally living verity, though they do seem abstract ideas to uninitiated mortals, and this explains the extraordinary numerical coincidences with geometrical relations as shown by several authors. Yes, our destiny is written in the stars. Only the closer the union between the mortal reflection man and his celestial prototype, the less dangerous the external conditions and subsequent reincarnations, which neither Buddhas nor Christs can escape. This is not superstition, least of all its fatalism. The latter implies the blind course of some still blinder power, and man is a free agent during his stay on earth. He cannot escape his ruling destiny, but he has the choice of two paths that lead him in that direction, and he can reach the goal of misery, if such is decreed to him, either in the snowy white robes of a martyr or the soiled garments of a volunteer in the impetuous course. For there are external and internal conditions which effect the determination of our will upon our actions, and it is in our power to follow either of the two. Those who believe in karma have to believe in destiny, which from birth to death every man is weaving thread by thread around himself, as a spider does his cobweb, and this destiny is guided either by the heavenly voice of an invisible prototype outside of us, or by our more intimate astral or inner man, who is but too often the evil genius of the embodied entity called man. Both these lead on the outward man, but one of them must prevail, and from the very beginning of the invisible affray, these turn an implacable law of compensation steps and takes its course, faithfully following the fluctuations when the last strand is woven, and man is seemingly enwrapped in the network of his own doing. Then he finds himself completely under the empire of this self-made destiny. It then either fixes him like the inert shell against the immovable rock, or carries him away like a feather in a whirlwind raised by his own action, and this is the karma.